cosas que quiero que me repitas y que para dentro de un ratito te acuerdes, ¿vale? Bicicleta, cuchara, sin apuntar, sin apuntar. Bicicleta, cuchara, manzana.
In current state of the art, there's no cure, there's no way that we can slow down this disease.
Sí.
I'm ashamed because we have so much to do and we haven't done it.
Enlloc no està escrit que aquesta malaltia hagi de ser invencible. Jo no em vull deixar doblegar per la malaltia, quedar-me paret a casa meva sense poder-me bellugar. No.
¿Te acuerdas de las 3 palabras que te he dicho hace un poquito? Eran 3.
Eran 3 palabras.
Me di cuenta de que él era una esperanza excepcional para todo el resto de mis pacientes.
Tenim massa al cap que l'Alzheimer i les persones estan tancades al món exterior, perquè veig que hi ha moltes coses que es pot viure bé abans que passi el pitjor.
My director, Carlos Bosch, is here, who was doing yesterday a masterclass in the university. It's not his first movie. He already filmed, he worked a lot in the television, but also he filmed Balseros, who was winner of the Goya Award for documentary, and it was nominated to the Oscars. And his last feature documentary is Petit Tête. And we have also Cristina Maragall, who is, you will know now, somebody very important for this movie and somehow for the city of Sarajevo. Cristina Maragall is the president of the Foundation Pasqual Maragall and the daughter of Pasqual Maragall as well. And I think that we cannot have a better couple here to talk about this movie. Well, I know who can be better, but we have the perfect couple here to talk about the movie. Bicicleta, cuya poma is a documentary that is not talking about a person, Pasqual Maragall, neither about the Alzheimer. It's talking about everything, about together. But for me, my feeling is that it's especially talking about a person who was a prominent person for Barcelona, for Catalonia, for Europe, for Sarajevo. And it's talking about, well, let's say that it's a movie that it was a documentary was filmed in the first 2 years after the diagnosis, the Alzheimer disease. And instead to be in the sofa watching Barca football, or to be with the daughters or with the granddaughter, he decided to start to fight for something that he knew, I think, that he will don't get the result, but that can help a lot to many people. And this is about I think, for me, documentary. And it has a very, let's say, powerful and positive, you know, it means it's a honor. And exactly. She is the first person, we think, to present and to introduce the figure of Pasqual Maragall, not only in the rest of the world, especially in Sarajevo. Thank you for accepting me here.
Mislim da jako puno ljudi nema pojma ko je bio Pasqual Maragall, znaju ga kao gradonačelnika Barcelone, kao nekoga ko je bio uz Sarajevo i uz Bosnu i Hercegovinu, ali Pasqual Maragall je jedna od osoba koja po meni treba da bude trajno zapisana kao iskreni i vjerni prijatelj grada Sarajeva. 1992. godine, kada je u Sarajevu već rat bio počeo, u to vrijeme, dakle, gradonačelnik Sarajeva, gospodin Kreševljaković, je otišao na otvaranje olimpijskih igara u Barcelonu susreo se sa gospodinom Maragallom i objasnio mu šta se dešava u Sarajevu. To je dakle bio početak jednog dugog i važnog prijateljstva i zalaganja gospodina Maragalla za Sarajevo i za Bosnu i Hercegovinu. Ja sam provela u Barceloni kao izbjeglica 2 godine, od 1993. do 1995. I bila sam svjedok dakle koliko puno je grad Barcelona zajedno sa svim ostalim nevladnim organizacijama, sa svim ostalim institucijama, ali dakle sve pod patronatom gospodina Maragalla koji je inicirao sve te stvari, uradila za Bosnu u to vrijeme sa mogućnošću humanitarnih konvoja i tako dalje. Gospodin Maragall je 1994. zajedno sa gospodinom Samaranom stigao u Sarajevo. Suština je da nije mogao puno da uradi, ali je htio da pokaže da je on prijatelj građana Sarajeva i da je tu za njih i da je zbog toga pod kišom granata stigao u Sarajevo. Rat se završava i gospodin Maragall sa svojim timom odlučuje da saradnja i podrška Sarajevu ne smije stati. I možete vi misliti te briljantne ideje. Oni otvaraju kancelariju u Sarajevu pod nazivom Ambasada lokalne demokratije Barcelona-Sarajevo. Da bi ta ambasada funkcionisala, na čelu te ambasade te 1996. je bio Carlos, a ja sam mu bila zamjenica. Da bi ta ambasada funkcionisala, oni prave 11. distrikt u Bosni u Barceloni. Odnosno, Barcelona ima 10 distrikta i oni formiraju 11. distrikt koji nazivaju Sarajevo i taj distrikt je kompletan bio posvećen podršci i programima podrške i saradnje za Sarajevo. Gospodin Maragall je dakle u više navrata dolazio u Sarajevo. Kancelarija kao takva je radila punom parom, jako puno je urađeno u Bosni i Hercegovini i u kantonu Sarajevo, posebno u gradu Sarajevo, preko same kancelarije, jer ona u stvari bila most između organizacija, ljudi, preduzeća, institucija iz Barcelone i Katalonije i Sarajeva. Međutim, ono što je važno reći je da je gospodin Maragall sve što je radio iz nekog lijepog uvjerenja da Sarajevo zaslužuje bolje i ljepše. Ja nekad kad pričam o tim stvarima, ja to poredim, znate, 96. 92. 96. i u to vrijeme je grad Barcelona bio moćni grad evropski, a mi smo bili mali grad zahvaćen ratom. I vi sad, dakle, jedan dobar dio svoje karijere, dobar dio svog slobodnog vremena posvećujete samo tome da budete prijatelj i da pomažete kako narodu, tako institucijama sistema. On jeste počasni građanin grada Sarajeva, gospodin Maragall, ali mislim da nekad, kad naši, ne znam li kako bi ih nazvala, krenu da pišu istorije prijateljstva, da, dakle, ime gospodina Maragalla stvarno treba da bude utisnuto negdje zlatnim slovima, jer je to, dakle, prijatelj koji je svojom sposobnošću ne samo radio na toj podršci i pomoći u tom kontekstu, nego kako je bio i član asocijacije gradova Evrope i tako dalje, na svakom mjestu je pokušavao da svima ukaže da Sarajevo zaslužuje bolje i da rat mora stati. Tako da sam ja jako sretna što sam danas ovdje. Mi smo normalno pratili sve što se dešava sa gospodinom Maragallom i vjerovatno će to negdje u nekim od dijelova filma se pokazati. Bez obzira što je bio tako bolestan, svaki put kad neko spomene Sarajevo, njemu se pojavi osmijeh na licu, bez obzira na njegovu bolest i tako dalje. To pričaju njegovi ukućani, to ja nisam izmislila. Tako da sam sretna što bar postoji s katalonske strane taj neki otklon da se pokaže preko, nažalost, bolesti. Gospodin Maragall, eto, nadam se da ćete i vi od večeras imati malo više saznanja o tome ko je bio gospodin Pasqual Maragall.
Before I welcome them, I would like to say that if we have time before 6 when the movie will start, if you have any question you can do it, of course, and especially when the movie will finish, we'll have like 20 minutes for the questions and answers with him. Okay, we'll repeat later for the people who will come to the projection. Then I will say, Cristina, welcome to Sarajevo. I know that it's not your first time, it's already, I think, the third time today.
Hello. Hi. Yes, it's my third time here. I'm very happy to be here again. It's exciting to come back. Really, it's part of our city, part of Barcelona, one of our special districts. So very happy to be back in the city. That meant so much to my father and the whole family, really.
Welcome, Carlos, too. We saw yesterday, but okay. I'm going to make a first question for you, Cristina. I would like to ask you how it was that in that moment when they just made, I don't know how fast was the diagnosis to Pasqual Maragall, to your dad, and he announced in public, how it was, how it came the idea to make a documentary, if it came by the family, let's say, and second, how was that we have Carlos here today?
My father had a very early diagnosis. He was really very well when he got his diagnosis. He was active and he was willing to do many things. He very rapidly made it public. One of his first actions to fight against the illness was to make it public, actually, and to put it on the table to make people know that anybody could get this illness. It was important in that way. And since he wanted people, he knew he wanted to promote science, but also he wanted a change in the culture, in the social culture concerning the illness. What that means, people need to know more about the illness to make it easier for the people with Alzheimer and their families to live better, and to have the energy, the empowerment to ask for what is really needed to take care of this illness and to help the families, and also to get more investment for research. So he really wanted to put this on the stage, on the table, make it a big issue, and that's probably why he decided to do a documentary. If I'm not wrong, his idea was not to be the main character of this documentary. That was Carlos' idea. And of course, he thought about Carlos because he was the best documentarist we had at that time in the city. So I don't know if you knew each other before, but I think my father had that clear from the beginning. That's how it was. I forgot to say that for me it was natural that he acted that way. He was a very compromised, active person. He always had fought for all the issues he had to confront. So for him it was natural to act that way, although it might seem very maybe extravagant or extraordinary. For him it was natural, I think.
And this is something that we saw here, and we saw also in Velvet when we were last week talking about the movie and the Alzheimer, that is means a big change if somebody means there are not many Pasqual Maragall in the world, unfortunately, but if somebody who can be notorious, it can make public that has, well, Alzheimer or many other illness that we have, because we have to normalize these things. It's not a stigma, it's something that happens.
Yes, it's very important to work against stigma, because it's the worst part of stigma is working against the families and the ill people. So it's very important to fight against stigma.
Okay, this is one of the things that I hope that we are going to live in the Balkans after this week, this year of the Danica Tanorco film. Carlos, for you, how it was then when they contact you? How was when they contact you making the proposal of making the movie?
Okay. First, welcome. Yeah, welcome, my friends. There are some of my friends here after the years. I met your father in 1992 when he was the mayor of Barcelona, and I came here as a TV journalist at the beginning of the war, and I did a reportage for television, which was for public television, and then I got a phone call, and someone told me, Mr. Pasqual Maragall wants to meet you. He wants to talk about Sarajevo, because then I had dinner at your parents' house, and he told me, look, Barcelona and Sarajevo, two Olympic cities, are sharing the cover of every newspaper in the world. But for Barcelona was the best moment, probably in centuries, I don't know. And it was the worst moment for Sarajevo. So he told me what to do. He felt he had to do something. So again, with Sarajevo, he was showing the way he is, and which is important for those who are interested in documentary filmmaking. That's what I was teaching yesterday, the students, that things work like in a fiction film. In a fiction film, the characters, they do actions that are is the logical action of the character that the filmmaker invented. So if you invent someone who's going to be a hero and very social aware and very concerned, he will do actions in this direction. When you do documentaries, it's the same. So for me, you will see at the beginning of the film, of course this film was suggested, and I will of course answer. The idea of the film was to put Alzheimer's disease on the table, but not only in Spain. So the idea was already coming from Pasqual Maragall and what he was planning, which was to build this foundation. So the idea was to deliver information all over the world. So the idea of the documentary was to do something which was useful not only in Spain, but in the rest of the world. So, of course, doing this documentary only for the Spanish audience, well, everybody knew the way Pasqual Maragall was. He was a very determined person, very open-minded, very much involved in the right issues. But how to tell someone in Japan who Pasqual Maragall was? So it was probably the most difficult thing. It's easy for a fiction writer, but what about documentary filmmakers? So I had to spend a few minutes at the beginning of the film to tell who he was and why he was reacting in a very different way to, I would say, the average of the people, and especially the average of the public people. Most of the famous people or famous politicians who were diagnosed with Alzheimer's, they just kept at home, and it was kind of a secret thing. And what Pasqual Maragall was exactly the opposite. So when he announced that he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, he also announced, as you will see, that although it will not be useful if there is a solution not for him, but it will be good for all of us. Then I was informed that one of the things that he wanted to do already before building because it takes time, of course, to build such a foundation, and I'm sure that maybe now or at the end of the film you would like to know which are the goals of this very important foundation. So I'm a little bit lost. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course, he already wanted to do something, because that's the way he is. He's always in a hurry. So the idea was, okay, since you work for the public television, why don't you produce? I remember the word that came to me was some audiovisual thing. So, audiovisual thing. What does it mean? Maybe 4 pieces, which is the function of the brain, or I don't know. But since at that time already I was doing documentary films, I suggested, why don't we do a documentary film? And then I started trying to find the idea. And then I realized, usually if you want to talk about an issue that affects millions of people, you cannot just pick 3 stories, one in Asia, one in Barcelona, and one in the United States. It doesn't work. At the end of the screening, you would say, oh, I saw the story of 3 people suffering Alzheimer's. So it doesn't work because this was not the original idea. So, plus you have to talk about the one who suffers the Alzheimer and the family around. If there is a family around, which is not the case sometimes, which is still worse. So just by putting 3 people plus the families, okay, I didn't have enough minutes, it's no way. Usually in documentary filmmaking and also in fiction, the theory is to follow 7 people, like the 7 Magnificent. It's a story of the 7 girlfriends for 7 whatever. I mean, there are many films with 7 people. With 7, 5, maybe 6, then you get the idea that this is a story of the average people who are very similar to the story you are telling. But there was no way. So I had the idea and I asked the family if they would accept to be followed by a camera. Pasqual Maragall said yes, and I'm very glad that the family said yes. So that's the way everything worked. Of course, this is not the story of the illness of Pasqual Maragall. I hope that at the end of the film you could say that I saw a film about Alzheimer's. When the main character is Pasqual Maragall, okay. But I hope you will learn, because this was the idea of the film, you will learn at least the ABC of the illness. So this was the goal.
I think that, let's say, in the region, there are 3 things that are growing up in parallel. That was the wish of the documentary, let's say, the foundation, and the family and Pasqual Maragall that was there. I don't know exactly the order, but we see during the movie, because we're filming like 2 years, 2 years and a half, that obviously the foundation is there in the movie because it was born. I would like to ask you, how was, in your case, how was for you, like a family member, and how was for the foundation to this co-living with the cameras and the team of Carlos all the time, because I suppose that, well, your dad was used to be with cameras around.
I'm sorry, cameras means one cameraman and me.
Ah, okay.
Well, I must confess that one camera was a lot for me. I was not used to that, and Carlos knows that. I was very reluctant to be in front of the camera at the beginning. It's not that I didn't want to help the project, I did want to help, but I said, I won't be in the camera. So it's his really good job that made it for me to go in front of the camera. It wasn't easy for us. It wasn't an easy moment for the family. You will learn that Alzheimer's disease is a very progressive disease. It has different stages. And at that time, it was not an easy stage for us because we were starting to know about the illness. Things were happening around us. Emotionally, it was not easy. And also we had this job to promote the Pasqual Maragall Foundation, which took a lot of work to do. We can talk about that later also. So it wasn't easy at the beginning. It was a long story though. It was really, I think it was better that it was only one camera, not many in any case, really. But in the long term today, I think I'm glad I did it. I can say that now. At the time, it wasn't easy.
And Carlos, she mentioned that, of course, and we know that this is an illness that it's go.
Let me tell them something with it, which is, I think, is important. Pasqual Maragall was not only the mayor of Barcelona; he also was the president of Catalonia. So you have this kind of association here, how strong it is, and how much you are funded, and how does it work? Because it's necessary, definitely. And the second And they told me, yeah, I think you ended the film much before of situations that we live every single day at home. So don't expect a film where you will see things that probably you are familiar through watching fiction films. The second group, if I can call it a group or a tribe, was the family, including Pasqual Maragall. And to be honest, I was quite sure that there would be no problem. And there was no problem. You probably don't remember. I was at home waiting for a phone call or something the very day that you were all the family watching the film. And then finally I got a WhatsApp coming from Guim, your brother, just with one word, which is a French word that we use in Spain, which was chapeau. That means, wow. Of course, I didn't speak this word, of course, but I was expecting something like, okay, let's go. So, which it was good. It was I think it's for you good to know that you are going to see a film that they agree. So, you're not going to see things that you will feel uncomfortable, considering that I went too far. I hope you will not think this.
I really think that you get exactly the point for many reasons. You get to the point to keep his, let's say, humanity like we have to have with everybody. And I wanted to ask also you, Cristina, if you already talk with family or with Pasqual, with your dad, in any moment about if you talk between yourself about the moment that you would like that the movie, the recording, the filming stops.
Yes, of course we talked about that, but I think we trusted Carlos, so we were not really upset about that, and it worked. I think we trusted his vision, and it worked that way. I think what Carlos said about not being fiction is important. It is very important to hear the voice of people living with Alzheimer's, because most of us think about very old people with no memory at all, and that's what a person with Alzheimer's. And a person with Alzheimer's, when it's diagnosed, can be in very good shape, and he's ill, and he is going to get worse, and that's a great mission in life. But it's part of our life. It's part of our life, and it's very important that this documentary explains that. It's not fiction. It's what life is. It's part of our life, his life and our life, and it's good that people know about that. So we're very happy about that also.
We have just a few minutes to finish before the 6. I would like, obviously this movie it became extraordinarily important for the Alzheimer. For the foundation, you have these videos in the foundation in the website of the Fundación Pasqual Maragall. Everybody can watch it anytime that you wish. How has become for the foundation the fact to have this documentary by Carlos?
Well, I think it's the masterpiece, but it's also a milestone in the sense that it draws a line where we want to go. There's things we're talking about speaking about the illness in positive and in their own voice. That's what the foundation wants to get to. That's what we want for all of the people living with Alzheimer's. So it's like a path that he marked, Carlos, and my father, of course, showing the direction we wanted to go in that sense.
Carlos, how do you feel, not because it was awarded in the Goyas or it was a success in the San Sebastian in the Donosti Awards, how you feel with what it became, this work of you, like Cristina said?
Oh, I'm satisfied, yeah. I'm satisfied. I think I hope I will find the word in English, because there is one word. Yeah, I think I have it. When the film started working, more than feeling happy, I felt relief. Because I kept telling my team, my reduced team, all the time, it has to be a success. So there was no another choice. There were only two choices. It's a big disaster, or we have made it. So not fulfilling the goal of doing a good film meant we did something very bad, because there is no excuse, and they would honestly also, it's not a question of ego. It was also, I would say, my career was there, so that's why I was so nervous. I mean, I knew I was following a family, a public person, getting into their lives. No one would forgive me, and that's why I was that nervous. So when it worked, I thought, okay, going to sleep. If you go to a party to celebrate the awards, okay, go. I go to sleep.
Congratulations for the work. I would like just to say, Yasmina, thank you very much for enlightening Pasqual, the figure of Pasqual Maragall, to our audience. Carlos, congratulations for the movie. Cristina, congratulations. Thank you first for being here. I know it was not easy, she has to be here yesterday, but Air Serbia didn't manage well. Thank you very much for your patience, and I just would like to ask you to, when you see that, when you will be in Barcelona, to give a hug from Sarajevo, his beloved Sarajevo.
He would be very happy.
Yes. And now we are going to, in 5 minutes, we are going to watch the movie. And remember that afterwards we'll have Carlos here, we'll have Cristina. Any question regarding the movie, Alzheimer, somebody interested, here they are for whatever you need. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Com t'agradaria que fos aquesta pel·lícula?
Com m'agradaria que fos aquesta pel·lícula? Divertida, tu, hòstia. Divertida, interessant. Tot el més. I am fed up with the issue of pobrecitos. Let's kill the animal, or the illness, and then talk. We won't talk about that.
Pasqual va tenir uns símptomes, però que podien ser els símptomes que tinc jo mateixa. Jo també m'oblido de moltes coses, com faig lius, i tenint en compte que ell havia estat sotmès a una pressió fortíssima.
En aquest moment no hauria arribat mai. Enlloc no està escrit que aquesta malaltia hagi de ser invencible. Estimats amics, començo aquesta nova etapa amb optimisme en companyia d'una família i d'uns amics que em recolzen i que em fan feliç. Vam fer els jocs, vam fer aprovar i referendar l'Estatut i ara anirem per l'Alzheimer. Tinc la certesa que dintre de 10 o 15 anys aquesta malaltia serà vencible i vençuda.
Muchas gracias.
The foundations, governments, to focus their energy towards achieving it. We need to convince. People do not see themselves being involved. They do not see Alzheimer's disease as a disease of the young. It's too far into the distance.
Sí, no tenemos happy. Continuem.
Hem de continuar, no?
Sí, si potser acaba tot. Mira, ara sí.
Haciendo en el día mil cosas distintas.
El meu cotxe, tu! El Ford.
No t'ho creguis, segur que et volen dir una cosa perquè no l'agafis.
Y contando las hojas caídas. Procuro cansarme. Llegar a la noche apenas sin vida. Y al ver nuestra casa tan sola y callada, no sé lo que haría. Lo que haría porque estuvieras tú, porque vivieras tú conmigo. Lo que haría.
Hi, 1 minute of attention, please. Like I said in the beginning, this is not a movie only about Pasqual Maragall, neither only about Alzheimer. I think that is much, much more. I think that we all that we are here today, tonight, and we watch this movie for the first time, we learn a lot about Alzheimer. And like Cristina said before, this is a masterpiece. Congratulations, Carlos. I would like now that we have the opportunity to have here Carlos and we have Cristina Maragall also. I would like to give the opportunity to all of you to make any question about whatever you saw today or you didn't see and you would like to know. There here is a unique opportunity. Please take it. Thank you very much. If somebody has a question, raise your hand and we'll bring the micro.
Hello. Just to start, because I see you're very shy now. I wondered how many people here have someone in the family that is living with Alzheimer's? You raise your hand, please. Okay, thank you. And I don't know if we have any people here from any association, maybe? From Alzheimer's disease, no? Okay. If you have any questions surrounding the illness or what we do in the foundation, we can talk about it personally later if you like, and now we can talk about the movie.
Somebody question? Yes?
Hello. I really enjoyed the documentary, thank you. Well, my question is, obviously, I'm curious to know what is he doing right now. I assume he's alive and well, and I just want to know what's the situation like right now. I mean, I didn't catch when was the announcement, which year was that? I forgot. When he was diagnosed with the Alzheimer's disease, and yeah, I just want to know the current situation. I mean, I really enjoyed seeing him so happy and, you know, just doing well.
Okay, thank you. He's doing well, he's fine. The announcement, his diagnosis was in 2007, and the foundation started working in 2008. The film was delivered in 2010, I believe. So he has been living with Alzheimer's for 17 years now. The foundation is working a lot, it's growing a lot as he wished, so we're very happy of that issue, and things are changing in research also. Unfortunately, my mother died 4 years ago in 2020, February, before the pandemics. So he lives with a carer now at his home, and he's fine. He's very, I would say, relieved, tranquilo. He goes to his care day center every day and he listens to music. He doesn't know us anymore, but I think he has a quite happy life still. That's the situation now.
How old is your father now?
He's 83. He started with 65. He was quite young.
One more question. What happened with the clinical study that was announced right before the end? What did that look like for him?
Well, it didn't work actually. He had to quit the study because he had side effects. And actually that study didn't go on. There are actually 165 studies in progress now. And things are changing a lot in investigation and research in that sense. We have actually in the world too pharmacological solutions that have been approved in the United States. They're not being delivered yet, and they can really reduce the progression of the illness in 30%. But only in some specific people, only 3% of the diagnosed people. It's little, but it's a great change because it's the first time we have any medicines that really can stop a little bit of the progression of the illness. On the other hand, as you saw in the film, we're working in the field of prevention, which is even more important, because our goal is that no cases are diagnosed anymore. We can do many types of prevention, and like in other diseases, when you know your cholesterol is high, you know you can treat yourself, so you can avoid a heart attack maybe. And that's our goal, that's where we want to get. But although more than 10 years have gone by, things are changing really, so we're really excited about that and very optimistic in that sense.
In my personal opinion, oblivion is a blessing for a person with Alzheimer's. Eventually, he or she will not remember the hardship, the difficult things, but all the people around him will remember this. And I think the support should be focused also more on family, of course, disease and everything, the clinical studies will be focused on the illness itself and the patients. But I don't think there is enough focus on the surroundings, the environment.
Yes, I agree, absolutely. We always say that there's not 40 million people that are ill in the world, we say there are 40 million families, because besides every ill person with dementia, you have a carer. Otherwise, this person will die. You need this carer. And these carers, most of the time, are forgotten. Mostly, they're women that take care of people with dementia. And it is very important that they're not only supported in the economic side, but also emotionally, and that they're trained. From the foundation, we do have this therapeutical groups for the carers. We really care about this aspect, and we try to help a little bit some of the families that are living through this the stages of the illness. And we also think it's very important to train the families, because nobody knows about the illness when they get the diagnosis at home. And also the illness is changing all the time. So you need this information, you need this knowledge all the time. You need to be educated and helped to know how to react. And
circle of trust in the family. And what are you most proud of with this film? That would be my questions to you as a filmmaker. It shows that you have a very special look at the problem, and it's very moving. I would like to know if you watched it as a personal anecdote. And for you, Christina, congratulations for the work you do, and thank you for coming. I'd like to understand, you mentioned two things. One, prevention, you're working hard on it. What can we do to prevent Alzheimer? What would be your recommendations? And how close are we to get medication? So how far ahead do you see that? Thank you.
I think your question for Christina is much more important. That's why my film is for. So I'm very satisfied that there are no questions for me, honestly, because that's why this film was for. So you asked which was the best outcome. The best outcome is that we are here, is that she's talking and you are asking, and probably this country will probably one day will get some funds coming from out of the blue, I don't know, in order to have one association. So that's what this film is for. I met Pasqual Maragall in 1992 when I was working here as a journalist, and he saw one of my reportages for television, and he called me and he said, "Yeah, I saw your film, and I think my city is enjoying the best years, the best moments in the life of the city, at the same time that another Olympic city is going through the worst moments in the life of the city." So he thought he should do something. So this was the very moment that my relationship with Pasqual Maragall and our relationship with the city of Sarajevo started. So yeah, obviously there was a huge trust from the family. If not, it was impossible. So when I saw that they were satisfied, so I felt relieved. Before someone asked me something, I said, "How did you feel when the film got the Goya Award and we opened San Sebastian Film Festival? Were you happy?" I said, "No, I felt relieved." I was very scared doing the film because there were just two possible outcomes. One was a good film, and the other chance was, if it's not a good film, it's a bad film. Because you cannot do a film about someone like Pasqual with the, I would say, with the open attitude of himself and the family. If you don't make it, this would be the end of my career, honestly. So for me, it was just okay.
Let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you and be rude. Third is you made a great film.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not bad. Okay.
It's great, and thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. I think Carlos is very humble. I agree with you. And also, it was not easy to make this film. I mean, it is a good film, but it was a very difficult situation. It was a very long process. And I, for example, said before also, I didn't want to go in front of the camera. I've never done that before, so it wasn't easy for him to make us all feel comfortable and trust him enough to do it. So that's his work, and he did a good work. And answering to your question, when we talk about prevention, which is very important, there are very different and many levels of prevention. There's a Lancet study every year that tells us about the different goals of prevention. And we know now that we can prevent 45% of the number of ill people if we agree with several points. And they start in childhood, actually. Somebody in the movie said that also. Education in childhood is important to prevent dementia. In Middle Ages, there are other aspects like sleeping well, having good diet habits, doing a little bit of sport, socializing. There are many things that can help us prevent dementia. And it's not when we're old, it's when we're in childhood that starts. And especially in middle age, it's very important to be socially active and to have all these aspects that I mentioned under control, to get to an older stage with a well-preserved brain. We don't talk enough about that. Everybody knows about, I don't know, as I said, heart diseases and the importance of keeping our body healthy, not to have a heart attack. But it has to do with brain health also. In the future, we will be talking a lot about brain health. We're starting now to talk about brain health centers, because we have to take care of a brain all our life, since childhood, and that's important for prevention. Many aspects related to sleeping also. That's one of the findings we have met in the foundation. Sleeping well, having good rest, pollution is not good. There are many, many aspects that contribute to make the illness progress in some cases. It's a very complex illness. There are some tiny genetical aspects, but there are many, many other aspects that we can control that can make it more difficult for Alzheimer's to progress. So that's why it's important that we talk about that also, because if you don't know that in your middle age, you're not going to be able to prevent. Okay? And as I'm not a scientist, so I wouldn't say what they don't want to say, because they don't know really. But we do say that it's a very exciting moment, it's a very important moment, because finally there is some medicine that is working. And that is important because many other pharmaceutical companies are going to invest in this kind of solutions. And now we have 165 drugs that are being tested to see if they're working. So it's a good moment. We cannot quantify the time, but we can say it's a very good time, and we are optimistic.
Okay, unfortunately I have to break this beautiful energy and time, but you know, the magic of the cinema has to go on, and there is people outside waiting for the 8:30 movie, I don't know, and I'm going to abuse of YouTube, sorry, but we'll be here out for a while. If somebody has a question, we can approach to them, and to ask whatever you wish. Thank you very much, everyone.